Good morning. Welcome to the vlog. Hello. Oh, it's been an interesting week. And here's some clips of what I got up to. Well, the new chisels arrived yesterday. I mean, he's getting better at it. Beep, 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 beep. What a day, what a day. I'm knackered. So I took a detour and went to a kebab place and got a kebab. I don't normally do kebabs. Big kebab. But it was recommended by Dan and Nick. Anyway, I'm going to have this and go home and go to bed. But tomorrow, we are going camping. Oh yes. To a good spot too. Well, that's another week of the Chateau done. Who would like to go on a bit of a road trip through rural France to a beautiful lake to do a spot of camping? Right, that's all the supplies sorted. When I say supplies, I mean some nice cold beer, because it's Friday. Let's hope it's cold by the time we get there. So, we're going to a very pretty campsite by a very pretty lake. Not quite sure how we're getting there from here, but hopefully Google Maps won't put us too far wrong. So let's hit the road. We have arrived at the lake at what was one of my most favourite campsites, but there's been a few changes here since I last stayed here, and not for the better, I feel. So this campsite, I can't remember the name of it, but it's right down by the lakeside at Lake Vesvier, and what was cool about it was, sort of at the back end of the campsite, there was a load of little, not mobile homes, but kind of like little chalet type things you could rent out. I think they were like one bedroom, bit of a bathroom, and a kitchenette kind of thing. I never stayed in one of them, but there was about 6 or 7 of them. And then the rest of the campsite was like just pitches for tents and motorhomes, little camping cars, which was brilliant because they were all kind of in their own little space, and you could just sort of pitch up on one, and they all kind of overlooked the lake, and they all had electricity, and it was fantastic. But what they've done over the winter seems to be that they've installed a load of, best described as glorified porta cabins all over the place, and taken up over half the camping plots for tents and motorhomes with these little just sort of porta cabin things. They look okay, I'm sure they'd be nice to stay in, but it means that the camping bit for tents and whatever else has been greatly reduced, which isn't great, to be honest. Anyway, we're here. Would you like to see the view? That's more important. Hang on, I'll get you off this thing. I forgot my tripods. You're attached to all sorts this evening. Here's the view. And that's not half bad for me, that'll do me. A nice relaxing evening overlooking the lake. What I'm going to do now though, is see if that little restaurant over there is open, and see if we can't go about scrounging up a bit of dinner. Because it was a long day today and I'm hungry. Right, red wine sorted, steak on the way. So, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what the crack with camping is in France and where you might find yourself. So let's say, for example, you're driving through France on holiday. Where can you stay? Well, so the first and most accessible place you could probably stay is motorway services. Now, I don't know about you, but motorway services in Ireland are very different to motorway services in France. They tend to have good restaurants and great facilities, and a lot of them, not all of them, will have a place where you can pull up for the night. It's worth noting you might have to go in and just let someone know you're staying there overnight, maybe pay a small fee. Hello bird. But it's a good handy spot to pull in if you're kind of driving down through the country and you just need somewhere to crash out for the night in your camper van. So say you've arrived in a region then and you're looking for somewhere to stay. You got three options. So the first option is an airy, and an airy is like effectively a car park for camper vans. And what you do is you pull in, some of them are free and some of them you have to kind of pay for the night. They're about 10 to 15 euros depending on what facilities they have. Normally they're on either in a town or just on the edge of a town, and some of them have like bathrooms, an electrical hookup and a place where you can refill water, and some of them are just car parks. But if you're in a pinch and you're looking for a spot to stay, an area is your best bet. Now there's two other types of campsites you can stay on, and these are whether you're in a tent or in a motorhome or whatever. The first one is the municipal campsites. So a lot of larger towns in where we are in rural France will have a municipal campsite, and it's pretty basic. But if I use an example of the one in Aubusson, which is like the town closest to the Chateau, that's a pretty good one. It's right by the river, all the pitches are pretty private, and there's electricity there available if you need it. And then there's also like a shower and toilet block, and you're about 5 minutes walk into the centre of town. And it's very cheap. To camp there in Pascal with the roof tent is something like €8 for the night, and I think about 10 if you want to plug into electricity. So that's a good deal. And then the other option for you is like the campsite I'm staying in tonight. So it's privately owned, I presume, and it's 20 quid for the night, and that includes the electrical hookup. And they've got shower blocks and toilets, and they're a little bit fancier than the toilets you'd find on a municipal campsite, but not by much. They also tend to be in more scenic places, whereas the municipal ones tend to be like the town council will say, oh, we could use this bit of land for a municipal campsite, and that could be anywhere. But most of them are pretty good. I mean, I haven't been let down by campsites in France. And my most very favourite campsite opens next week, and I'm actually really looking forward to going back because it's super handy. It's like 15 minutes from the Chateau, and it's a real kind of funky little cool campsite that has a restaurant there where you can get a decent bit of grub. And sometimes on Friday nights I think there's a band there, most Friday nights anyway, and when the band is playing, I think the restaurant is closed, but they have this plat du jour, which is basically, tonight we're cooking spaghetti bolognese and that's all you can get. So everyone lines up and gets a plate of spaghetti bolognese, goes down and watches the band. It's quite cool. Really looking forward to going back there. So yeah, that's kind of like the crack with camping in France. You can be as fancy or unfancy as you like. But I have to say, in all the countries I've been in, it's definitely one of the most camping friendly countries I've come across. Sometimes you can't beat just an old steak and chips, do you know what I mean? And that steak and chips was delicious. That was the nicest steak I've had in a while, actually. It's a lovely little restaurant down by the lake, just over there, called, what's it called? Escala, I think it is. So if you're ever down here in Vazevière, call in, because it's lovely food. I've been there a couple of times before, and I haven't been disappointed, so good shout tonight, I think. And I met a lovely lady from Ireland called Tony who works there, so if you are in there, say hello. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a shower, and then read a book and go to sleep, I think. Because tomorrow, this lawnmower is getting fixed one way or another. I have an expert coming, and what he doesn't know about lawnmowers isn't worth knowing. Also, what he doesn't know about medieval weaponry isn't worth knowing. But anyway, and he's going to give me a hand fixing the lawnmower. When I say he's going to give me a hand fixing the lawnmower, he'll probably walk in, point at something, and the lawnmower will start instantly. That's the hope anyway. I said I'd make him lunch for his trouble. Anyway, I'm going to end the vlog there. I say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.